Evening, everybody.
Good
Good
evening,
evening,
sir.
Good
sir.
evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
How are you all?
Super.
Super, sir.
Super, sir.
Super. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Forget about what has happened. Huh? It's gone good, great. Not gone good, doesn't matter. Yes, ಏನೇ ಭಾವನಾ? Huh?
Sir.
ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಡ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ. Huh? Yes, doesn't matter. No, it is when costing. No. What has happened has already happened. It is sunk in nature. Is it relevant for decision making? Not relevant for decision. Correct or not? What is already happened, what is already incurred, is it ever relevant for decision making? Not relevant. So why are we bothered about what has happened in the past, right? So what has happened is already happened. Let us not bother and think about what has happened. Aita? Huh? Yes. Okay, all of you keep your videos on. Yes, quickly, all of you. All right, let's start. We don't have, we have to be to the point. Okay. Yes. So costing R2R session. I hope my screen is visible to everybody.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Costing R2R session. Okay. All right. The distance between dreams and reality is called action. Correct. So it is the time to act now. When some things go wrong, take a moment to be thankful for the many things that are going right. No, one question would have gone wrong, you'll be only thinking of that. One sub question would have gone wrong, you'll only be thinking of that. Think of all the things that have gone right. Don't focus on what is not going right. All right. So the first 10 minutes will be generic. So then we'll discuss. So the thing is, it will be split in two sessions. So first I'll be starting the session, right? I will discuss about the subject also, and then we'll go through the important areas, and then what should be the order of questions, preferred order of questions, all of that will be going through. Okay. Costing syllabus reasonably less. Yes, 100%. Nobody can dispute on this point. It is definitely reasonably less. It is a easy common sense subject. Yes, first impression is the best impression, so always start with the easy and absolutely known question. That is how the preferred order of questions is also suggested. Syllabus mainly material, labor, your process, marginal cost, standard costing, ABC, intro, theory. Maintaining good pace is very, very important. Now, many of them go wrong in this place. They start slow and then they're not able to complete the paper. You should have a consistent pace right from the start till the end. Okay. Costing, you have to keep that in mind. Keep that at the back of your mind always, and ensure that whatever time you've allotted for the particular questions, keep looking at the watch. Okay. Costing is definitely a high scoring paper. Aim 100, right, out of 114. Be ready for one bouncer, leave it, you can still score out of it. Read the question carefully. So Vyakta, yes, for each and every sub question you have to read, turn the page and check if the question is complete or not. Till where you should read? Till the next question number. You should read until the next question number. If you're not able to see the question number, that means it's not complete. Read the whole question. Working notes are very important. Focus on final answer too. Accuracy is also important in costing, right? Accuracy is also important. Stepwise approach is always appreciated by the valuer. 50 marks you can easily score by practicing material, labor, service costing, cost bookkeeping, cost sheet, marginal costing, process costing, and certain repetitive theory. We have told time and again, do not miss on this theory. Keep at least three to 4 hours. 3 hours I would suggest on theory. Okay. Repetitive theory for 20 to 25 marks, mainly introduction chapter, material chapter, then budgetary control you'll get. Yes, and ABC. These are main chapters where your theory is asked. What are the do's? In the last page, rough sheet, 5 to 10 minutes, write points for each question to be attempted, right? Working notes, steps, final answer is also important, like I mentioned, right? Study material, language for theory you should mention, write question number including the sub questions and in that particular order. So you can you write the question in any order, question number 1, question number 2, or question 5, any order you can write, but the sub questions, it should be along with the main question itself. Don't do that, you cannot write in different orders. Attempt extra question compulsorily. If out of syllabus, then full marks. Don'ts: relaxing before 3 hours, unnecessary, wrong expectation, right? So the paper will be easy, the paper will be tough. Today's paper was easy, so tomorrow's will be tough. For today's was tough, tomorrow is easy. Don't have any sort of expectation, no unnecessary tension, and ignoring theory, never do it. Okay. Yes. So this is the index. So subject analysis we'll be going through. Costing formulae is given in one separate, In a continuous flow, all the formulas are kept in one place. And then you have MTP and SA analysis, important areas, order of selection of questions and suggested answers, and MTP. Okay. All right. So I'll be starting off with my first chapter, that is material costing. Yes, material control. It is the function of ensuring that sufficient goods are retained in stock to meet all requirements without carrying unnecessarily large stock. Yes, that is my inventory control. That's the basic definition upon which the chapter is entirely built, right? So the two main costs that is involved, that is ordering cost and carrying cost, both are inversely related. Yes, ordering cost is always calculated per order. Carrying cost is always calculated per unit per annum. Yes. Then the two bin system, under this there are two separate bins that are kept. Yes, everybody. Two separate, one large bin and one small bin. First issues are made from the large bin, and then when it comes to the small bin, you place the order. Therefore, the small bin will be equal to either your minimum level or the reorder level. Okay. Yes. What are the different techniques for inventory control? Yes, setting of stock levels. We'll be discussing all the formulas, ABC analysis, right? That is the 70-20-10 analysis, everybody. For 70% of value having 20% of, so 10% of the quantity, then 20% and 20% of value and quantity. And last one is it has only 10% of the value, but 70% of the quantity. That is your 70-20-10 analysis, right? FSN, fast moving, slow moving, and non moving goods. VED, vital, essential, and desirable. What is criticality and importance is important. Then EOQ analysis, will be discussing the formula square root of 2AB by C, and stock taking, right? Which should always be coupled with stock taking. Your perpetual inventory system should always be coupled by stock taking. Yes. Now let us look at all the formulas of material chapter. So the reorder level, maximum into maximum, always maximum usage into maximum reorder period. Safety stock plus lead time consumption is a different kind of formula. We have done a problem on this. You can go through it once. Minimum level, reorder level minus your average into average. Yes. Maximum level, something more than reorder level. So ROL plus ROQ minus minimum into minimum. Average stock level is maximum plus minimum by 2, or minimum level plus half of ROQ. Yes, danger level is, there are two schools of thought. You can either go with minimum consumption or average consumption also into emergency lead time purchase. EOQ formula square root of 2AB by C, where A is the annual consumption of input. Here it is input. In economic batch quantity, it is output. Here everything is from input angle. There it is everything from the perspective of output. 2 into, so annual consumption of input, buying cost, that is ordering cost per order, and divided by carrying cost per unit per annum. Right? Inventory turnover ratio is material consumed by average inventory. Inventory turnover period. Yes. 365 by inventory turnover ratio. Safety stock is nothing but annual demand by 365, that is daily consumption into maximum minus average. Okay. Total inventory cost is ordering cost plus carrying cost, and also you can include the purchase cost. Normally purchase cost is not considered because we assume that it is constant. Whenever purchase cost is not constant, we should always include the purchase cost. For example, if a discount is given, etc. Clear? Yes. So for calculation of total inventory cost, average inventory should be taken as half of carrying cost is normally given as a percentage of per unit. Yes. So when you're calculating the ordering cost and carrying cost, here carrying cost is half you should consider. Yes. All right. Input output ratio, output by input, inventory turnover ratio. Yes. Cost of raw material consumed by average stock. And then number of days of average inventory holding, 360 or 365 days, like we already discussed. It should always be expressed in terms of number of times. All right. Yes. The material losses. These are the material losses. So first one, waste, right? It has no scrap value. Scrap means it has some economical value, right? Very less value. But defective means it can be rectified economically. Defect means the defects can be rectified economically. Obsolete means they are items, right, that have become outdated. Yes, items that have become outdated. It is always, right? Obsolete is always abnormal in nature. Okay. And last one, spoilage. It is so badly damaged that it cannot be rectified. Again, very important word, economically. Yes, it cannot be rectified in an economically feasible manner. Yes. Labor costing. All of you concentrate now. Labor costing. So certain important terms, timekeeping and time booking. What is timekeeping? Basically the time in and time out. Yes, the time in and time out is nothing but my timekeeping. The difference between timekeeping and time booking is idle time. Therefore, what is time booking? Right? It is recording the time spent for particular job. Yes or no? For different jobs and tasks, when you record the time spent, that is nothing but my time booking. The difference between timekeeping and time booking is nothing but idle time. Therefore, what is idle time? It is the time spent by the workers. Yes, for which amount is paid, but there is no production that is taken place. Right? So no production is carried out, but however, they are paid for the same. That is my idle time. All right. So job analysis, it involves determining the list of qualifications. What is job evaluation? Right? Determining the worth of the job. Yes, how much I should pay for that particular job. That is my job evaluation. All right. So the labor turnover formulas, separations method, number of separations. That means number of people who have left the organization irrespective of the reason why they have left. We're not bothered by it. As soon as they have left means it is separation. Right? Divided by everywhere, the denominator is same. It is average number of workers. That is opening plus closing by 2. Very simple. Right? Next, replacement means those people who have joined the organization in place of the vacancies that have been created. Yes, so only the replacements are considered here. Accession means all the people who have joined the organization, again, irrespective of the reason. It could be due to replacement, it could it could be due to your expansion, etc. So total inflow into the organization is called my accession method. Flux method is a absolute addition of the separations plus my accession. That means total number of people who have left plus the total number of people who have joined the organization divided by my average number of workers is my flux method. Clear, all of you? Yes. So these are your labor turnover ratios and equivalent labor turnover rate. If it is not given for 365 days, then what do? Divide by the number of days in that particular period into 365 days. That will be my equivalent labor turnover rate. Yes. Next comes your incentive schemes. Yes. First one is time rate and piece rate. Time rate is very simple. Right? Time rate means very simple. Time taken into time rate. Piece rate is number of pieces into the piece rate. All of you understood? Yes. Then comes your incentive schemes. That is a combination of your efficiency as well as a fixed payment system. This first one is HALSE. HALSE, what is the principle? That whatever the savings is there will be equally shared between the employer and the employee. Yes. So therefore, time taken to time rate plus 50% of time saved into time rate. Clear, all of you? Yes, that is my HALSE. Then comes Rowan system. Rowan says that the bonus or the incentive should be capped. Right? It should be capped. Therefore, it is a percentage of a fixed payment itself. So first one is time taken to time rate. Then efficiency percentage of time taken to time rate. What is efficiency percentage? Time saved by time allowed. So the formula is time taken to time rate plus time saved by time allowed into time taken to time rate. That is my Rowan scheme. All of you understood all the 4 formulas. These are my employee incentive scheme formulas. Yes. Next comes overheads. All my indirect cost. Yes, everything, all the indirect cost, indirect material plus indirect labor plus indirect expenses. When I add all of this, the aggregate of all of this is called overheads. Is also called supplementary cost, on cost, indirect cost, etc. Clear, all of you? Yes. So the main concept that we have to understand in overheads is absorption. Yes. How does the absorption take place? Remember, first we have to collect all the overheads in one place. Yes. Remember, all of you, estimation. So we have to collect all the overheads, and after all the overheads have been collected, then what do? We perform primary distribution. How do we perform primary distribution? By applying principles of allocation and apportionment. What is allocation? Anything that you can directly identify it to a particular, yes, department or product, it is called as allocation. Then whenever you cannot directly identify, yes, you apportion it on a reasonable basis. Once primary distribution is done to the production departments and the service departments, then the service department overheads is reapportioned to the production department overheads. This is called as secondary distribution. For secondary distribution, there are different methods. Yes, all of you, direct redistribution method, stepladder method, and reciprocal method. Yes, reciprocal method, again you have trial and error, then simultaneous equation. Yes, and repeated distribution method. All of you understood? This is my secondary distribution. Once secondary distribution is completed, then finally you absorb the overheads into the units produced. If the absorbed overheads, very important, if the absorbed overheads is more than my actual overheads, if the absorbed overhead is more than actual overheads, I call it as overabsorption. If the absorbed overheads, Pragna, is less than my actual overheads, I call it as underabsorption. Is this clear, everybody? Yes. So this is the, basics of overheads. Now, different formulas. If blanket overhead rate, normally used when there is only one product, right? Overhead cost for the whole factory divided by total units of the selected base. Absorption techniques, it could be based on units, it could be based on material as percentage of material, percentage of labor, prime cost, labor hour rate, machine hour rate, etc. Machine hour rate, there are two types. One is simple and then comprehensive. When machine operator's wages is included, I call it as comprehensive machine hour rate. Otherwise, it is called simple machine hour rate. Clear, all of you? Yes. All right. Okay. The classification of overhead, very simple. Function means function. When you use the word, when you hear the word, you should always remember cost sheet, right? So factory overheads, administration overheads, selling and distribution overheads, research and development overheads, fixed overheads, and so fixed overheads and variable overheads is behavior-wise classification of overhead. So until here, it is my function-wise classification. This is my behavior-wise. There is fixed, variable, and semi-variable overheads. Right? Machine hour rate we already discussed. Accounting treatment of under or over absorption, very important. It can be either directly transferred to P&L, transfer initially to overhead adjustment account, and at the end of the period, the net balance is transferred to costing P&L account. Otherwise, if you expect that in the next period it can be net off, then it is charged to production based on supplementary overhead recovery rate and carried to the subsequent period for adjusting at the end of the and at the end of the year it is transferred, the balance is transferred to the costing P&L account. Clear? This is my overheads chapter. Next comes activity based costing. So activity based costing was developed mainly because of the inefficiencies of the traditional absorption costing system. Now, to ensure that there is more accuracy of charging the overheads to the units produced, activity based costing was developed. In activity based costing, what do we do? Yes, it is an accounting methodology wherein the overheads are distributed, are charged to particular activities. Yes, to identify what are the activities, then we identify the cost pools. Yes, and then we identify what are the cost drivers that drive the particular cost pool. Yes, and then we apply very simple DMA technique. Yes, division, multiplication, and addition. What do we do? So once the cost drivers are identified, we find out what is the cost driver rate, that is overheads for that particular activity divided by the total number of drivers for that particular activity. Then you get the cost driver rate. All of you understood? So first you divide, then you multiply for each product. Okay, what is the number of, say for example, it is based on number of purchase orders. So if you're divided by the number of purchase orders, you would have got the cost per order, and then you multiply into the number of purchase orders for each and every product. All of you understood? Say product A, product B, product C. So you multiply and finally then you add. That is nothing but my activity based costing. It's very simple. Yes. Only thing is, you have to read the question carefully. Do not directly eliminate ABC just because it is lengthy, and don't assume that it is lengthy. Sometimes it can be very easy also. Simple in the sense, it may not be that lengthy. It may be very small, short problem and giving you good marks. So read the problem, analyze it, and then evaluate whether you want to attempt that question or not. If it is too lengthy, then yes, you may think of skipping that question, only if it is too lengthy. Okay. Yes. So activity-based costing is an accounting methodology that assigns cost to activities rather than product or services. This enables resources and overhead costs to be more accurately assigned to products and services. Like I said, we use the DMA technique. Yes. So cost driver is there, then cost pool is identified, and finally you have to use the DMA technique for charging the overheads. Yes, the total overheads, very important, under both absorption costing and ABC have to be same. Yes, however, the overheads of particular products may not be same. Clear? All right. So the unit costing and batch costing, unit cost is nothing but your cost sheet. Yes, you have already learned that chapter. Batch costing only only one main important formula. Yes, is your EBQ, economic batch quantity, wherein very similar to your EOQ formula. Only thing is here it is output, determined from the output angle. So square root of 2 is AS by C. A is the annual demand of output or the product. S is the setting up cost per setup. All of you understood? There it is ordering cost per order. Here it is the setting up cost per setup divided by carrying cost per unit per annum. But what per unit? Unit per unit of the output. Clear all of you? So everything is same. Only thing there it is ordering cost. Here it will be setup cost. Yes. All the other formulas, everything remains the same. Yes. All right. Joint products and byproducts. Yes, what are joint products? Two or more products, right, of equal importance produced simultaneously from the same process. They are called as joint products. Best example, crude oil. Yes, so crude oil, it is introduced, then it is processed, and then you get your crude petroleum, crude diesel, etc. All of you understood? That is joint products. However, what are co-products? They are produced simultaneously, but need not be from the same process. Yes, that is my co-product. And byproduct, anything that arises incidentally, that is not my major product, that is my byproduct. It is of a lower economic value. All of you understood? These are the three differences. Now the main problem area that comes in the joint products and byproducts is basically to apportion my joint cost. Yes, so first the crude oil, for example, is processed. Until the point of separation, you will have joint cost that is incurred. After the point of separation, you get the joint products or byproducts, as the case may be. Yes, say for example, then crude petroleum, crude diesel, crude kerosene, etc., would be further processed to refined petroleum. Yes, diesel and kerosene. This further process cost would be identifiable for each and every product separately. Yes, that is called as my further process cost. All of you understood? So until the point of separation, we need to separate this joint cost. For this, there are different methods. Yes, let us understand these methods one by one. First one is your physical unit method. That is based on the physical units. Say if all the joint products are capable of being measured using the same unit of measurement, that is kg, liters, right? Then you can use physical unit method. If one of them is measured in terms of kg, the other one in terms of liters, then this unit of measurement is not suggested. Yes, that is my physical unit method. Next comes average unit method, average unit cost method. This is very similar to your physical unit method. Only thing what we do here is we identify what the joint cost is, then divide by the total units. Say for example, petroleum 1000 liters, then 2000 liters diesel. So divide by 3000 liters, find out what the average unit cost of what is the average unit cost for each unit. All of you understood? And then we multiply it to respective petroleum and diesel, as the case may be, and find out what the total share of joint cost is. All of you understood? Yes. So here also the same principle applies. It should be capable of being measured in the same unit of measurement. Yes, I hope I'm clear. Next comes your market value method. Yes, very important. The market value method, market value at split off, market value after further processing, and NRV. Extremely important, where you should not make a mistake is you should not take the selling rates per unit. You should always take the total sales value for bifurcating the cost. Clear? Always. So as soon as you see per unit, multiply it, find out what the total sale value is, and then use that ratio to find out what the market value is, either at split off or at after further processing. Wherever it is, market value is always in terms of total. NRV is working back. What is working back method here? Is find out what the market values you would know. The sale price you would know. Clear all of you? After further processing, minus your profit margin, minus any commission, etc. Yes, then minus further processing cost, you will arrive at the share of joint cost. Clear all of you? That is my NRV method. Yes, then two different methods. First one, survey method. This is only theory point. Yes, wherein based on certain point values determined by research and analysis, we will apply those point values and then find out what the share of joint cost is. That's why it's also called point value method. And contribution margin method. The word contribution, when you see, you should remember it is based on marginal costing. So marginal costing is based on behavior wise classification of cost. So in contribution margin also, fixed cost and variable cost would be classified separately. For variable cost, you will use either say your physical unit method. Yes, because it varies per unit. All of you understood? Yes, right? Whichever is there with the whatever cost that varies, right? Variable cost varies in total. Yes or no? So therefore, you will use your physical unit method because physical unit uses the number of units. Is this clear? Yes, we can use physical unit method for variable cost, and for fixed cost, we'll use the contribution ratio. Yes, contribution ratio, and that is how contribution margin method is followed. Clear, all of you? Yes. Service costing, very simple. It is nothing but the cost of operating a service. Yes, we have very different service sectors: transportation industry, hospital industry, education sector, etc. Clear, all of you? So we have done problems for each of these sectors. One problem you have to go through. Clear? Even for the other sectors. See, transportation, I know all of you will do in detail, but do not ignore the other ones. Correct? For example, toll plaza problem. Say road, right? Road tax, and then toll problem is there. Then education, there is one problem. All of them, just glance through it and go through it so that you're comfortable. All of you understood? Definitely will go through your other problems, I'm sure of it. Yes. When it comes to service costing, mainly it is based on your units. There are two units. One is simple unit, one is composite units. When you use only one unit of measurement, it is called simple unit. When you use two or more units of measurement, we call it as composite unit. Clear? So passenger kilometer, patient days, room days, all of these are my composite units. All of you understood? Then there is a simple format which will be following for your service costing. That is standing cost. Yes, your fixed costs are there. Then you have your semi-fixed cost or semi-variable cost and your variable cost. All of you understood? Yes. Multiple costing is basically when you follow two different methods of costing in the same books of account. Yes, that is called as my multiple costing. Yes. So marginal costing, extremely important chapter. So you cannot determine the importance of this chapter only because of this. The problems that come directly from marginal costing. The principles of marginal costing are there as given as adjustment in across the question paper. Okay, so extremely important. Please ensure that you know all the formulas in and out in different combinations, right? All the different combinations like we have done in the class. Yes, marginal costing. What is marginal cost? Yes, it's nothing but your variable cost. Yes, margin costing is nothing but your variable cost. It means the cost incurred or saved by producing or not producing a unit. Very simple. Yes, cost incurred or cost saved by producing or not producing a unit. Marginal cost is nothing but my variable cost. Very important. When I say variable cost, it includes my prime cost as well as my variable overhead. Right? Many of you will make a mistake here to ignore the variable overhead or consider only the variable overhead. Yes, don't. So when the problem states variable cost, you have to consider both. So in marginal costing, you just have to classify fixed and variable. That's all. Even the semi-variable cost, whatever is there, you need to determine what is the fixed portion, what is the variable portion, and classify it accordingly under variable and fixed. Clear, all of you? Yes. So what is the fundamental formula for marginal costing? Sales minus variable cost is contribution, which is equals to fixed cost plus profit. That is my fundamental formula. Yes or no? Yes, sales minus variable cost is contribution, which is equal to fixed cost plus profit, wherein sales and variable cost within the control of the management, fixed cost and profit not within the control of management. Profit is a balancing figure, fixed cost is sunk in nature. Clear, all of you? Yes, then we have all the list of formulas. Let us go through each and every formula one by one. Yes. Before we go, that extremely important. As soon as you see fixed cost in units, I've told this in the class time and again. Fixed cost per unit, and then as soon as you see, first convert it in and find out what's the total fixed cost. Yes. What is the formula for finding the total fixed cost? Budgeted units into budgeted fixed cost per unit. All of you understood? Find out what the total fixed cost is and use only that. Each independent question is Each sub question should be read independently, treated independently in marginal costing until and unless specifically given in the question that there is a link given. All of you understood? Yes. All right. So sale minus variable cost is contribution is equal to fixed cost plus profit. Contribution ratio or profit volume ratio, irrespective of whether the problem asks or not. First working note, find out what is the contribution per unit, find out what is the profit volume ratio. Clear? Yes, after doing the total fixed cost calculation. Yes. All right. Now, so PVR is contribution by sales into 100. Contribution is equals to PVR into sales, right? If information of two different periods is given, then change in contribution by change in sales or change in profit by change in sales is also my PVR itself. Yes. Break even sales in units is total fixed cost divided by contribution per unit or total fixed cost divided by PVR. Sales required to earn X profit, total fixed cost plus X profit. Yes, divided by contribution per unit or total fixed cost plus X profit divided by PVR. Yes, margin of safety. The sales achieved in excess of break-even sales is my margin of safety. Actual sales minus break-even sales is margin of safety, or profit by PVR is also margin of safety. Yes, margin of safety percentage is margin of safety in value divided by actual sales into 100. 1 minus variable cost percentage is PVR. Margin of safety into PVR is profit. Break-even sales into PVR is contribution. Break-even sales into PVR is fixed cost. ಇದೊಂದು ಕರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. I'll correct this instant. Okay. Break-even sales into PVR is fixed cost. 1 minus break-even sales percentage is margin of safety percentage. Clear? All right. So the last chapter is budget. Budgetary control. What is a budget? A financial or quantitative statement prepared and approved prior to a defined period of time of the policy to be pursued during that period for the purpose of attaining a given objective. Yes, in the class we have detailedly discussed what is that policy, etc. Yes, so basically any budget you prepare at the end of the day, it should be in line with the objective of the company. Yes, so keeping that objective and goal in mind only, a budget would have been prepared. Yes, so what is zero based budget? Budget is started from the budget which starts from scratch, that is by performing research and analysis. When you prepare something from scratch without looking at just the history, there's no past data we are seeing. We perform a research and analysis, detailed research and analysis for each and every item, and then we prepare. That is nothing but my zero based budgeting. Yes, so what are the different types of budget? Based on capacity, fixed and flexible. You get problems mainly in this area, that is fixed budget and flexible budget. Fixed means you prepare only for one particular capacity. When you prepare a budget for varied capacity, say at 60%, 70%, 80%, that is my flexible budget. Yes, based on conditions, it could be basic or current. Basic is normally long term in nature, current is short term in nature. When I say conditions, basically you're checking whether you're factoring in the market conditions or not. Yes, if you factor market conditions, it has to be short term in nature. Clear all of you? Because long term only you cannot predict the market conditions. So exclude when you remove the market conditions and then you prepare. That's nothing but my basic budget. Yes, based on coverage, that is functional, sales, production budget, etc. Sales is always the starting point of any budget. Yes, first you prepare the sales budget and then you will identify what the production budget is, raw material consumption budget, and finally my purchase budget. Clear all of you? Yes, master budget is when you prepare all the budgets together, right? So summarize form of the balance sheet and P&L. Budget can be prepared for almost any item, a given item of the balance sheet of the P&L as the case may be. Yes, so based on period, it could be either long term or short term. The only formulas in budget is your budget ratios, right? I've intentionally used the study material for formulas because that is the wordings that is asked in the examination also. So this is how we have learned it, and this is how I want you to learn also even now. Yes, capacity ratio, that is actual working hours by budgeted working hours. Activity ratio, standard hours for actual production by budgeted hours. Efficiency ratio, standard by actual. We always, yes, remember, this is very easy to remember, based on standard hours by actual hours, discussed in detail in the class. I have given some general notes on it. You can glance it once. Okay. Capacity usage ratio, budgeted number of working hours divided by maximum possible number of working hours in a budget period. Calendar ratio, actual working days by budgeted working days. Standard capacity usage ratio is budgeted hours by maximum possible hours in budget period. Actual capacity usage ratio, actual hours by maximum possible working hours, and actual usage of budgeted capacity ratio, actual hours by budgeted hours. ACE, right? Alphabetical wise, in between two letters are not there. Remember, A, B, B illa, C barutte, D illa, E barutte. Yes, activity ratio is equals to capacity ratio into efficiency ratio. Clear? Yes. So this is a summary of all the chapters that I have done. Okay. All right. I think now Shetty sir will continue.
Yes, sir. Done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Aman sir. Thank you. Yes. Hi, friends. Namaste. How are you all?
Hi,
Sir.
Sir.
Long time no see. Hingide Jivana.
Super, sir.
Super, sir.
Super. ಖುಷಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ? ಖುಷಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ದೀಪಾವಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ದೀಪಾವಳಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ ನೀವು ಈ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್, ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೂ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ದೀಪಾವಳಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಎಸ್. Let us resume our discussion on cost and management accounting. The subject title is cost and management accounting. So no doubt examiner they may not ask differentially the costing separately, management accounting separately, but you should still know the difference between costing and management accounting. Costing is about past, present, and future. So whatever has happened yesterday, what is happening today, whatever. And it is more of a cost control, cost reduction, cost ascertainment, assisting in the selling price, etc. Management accounting is more of a decision making, management, the name only says. So there are two methods of costing that sir would have told. I'm just repeating some of them. So one is called job costing, one is called process costing. Any product which undergoes the process is called process cost. Yarn, fabric, garment, or dairy industry. Everything else is a job costing. Under each one of these, we have various types. Your syllabus, sir, chapter headings, sir. Unit costing, under job unit costing, contract costing of AS7, which is not there in the costing now. Okay. Then operating service costing, operating costing, service costing, etc. Job costing. Process costing, process and operation. So sub-process costing is called operation. There are methods of costing. Types of costing we cover. Then techniques of costing are marginal costing, budgetary control, standard costing. So these are the three topics which are more connected to your management accounting, which helps in decision making, which helps in decision making. So management accounting definition, theory you would have seen, okay, are what? CPPI, create, protect, preserve interest of the investors. That's what the definition, the punch word used for management accounting. So whereas costing only, it is more of a determination of a cost, etc. Fine. Now introduction theory. I don't know, sir. Theory madidra sir illala? Madilla. Okay. Right. Anyway, I'll just take you through whatever the order quickly. Whatever is done, you can just done ಅಂತ ಸುವ್ಯಕ್ತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗು. Yes, sir ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ರಿಪಿಟೇಷನ್ ಬೇಡ. Yes, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಸರ್? ಕೊಟೇಶನ್ ಕವರ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. Yes. Okay. So that is the case. This is the case of 10 frogs on the fence of a well. 9 decided to jump. How many are left out? How many are left out? Till 10. Because deciding to jump. So this is planning, then what you call implementation in between so many processes. Ultimately, what is important is go and write the exam. That's it. I know still some of you will be thinking about yesterday's exam, today's exam. Ridiculous. I know it's not easy. Not easy somewhere. I could have done this better. It was easy. It was tough. Just check there. Just go and write. Easy for you, easy for everyone else. Tough for you, tough for everyone else. But you have got better things, better what you call sessions being conducted, and you would have done better in your life. Idella aaytala? Costing is easy. Adella aaytala? Yes, important. High scoring aaytala ella? Done? All done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Right. So the theory agiralla? Theory we didn't discuss it. Yeah. Cost means resources utilized or spent or potentially to be incurred on a manufacture of a product or rendering of a service. Two important objectives, cost control and cost reduction. But the difference, 19 exam out of the 25 exam, last 25 exam if you take 19 times, cost control. And every time when you're writing analytical theory, it's better serial number, basis of difference, cost control, cost reduction. Same way in every subject, may it be SM, may it be costing, may it be anything else. So, cost control, ICMA London, guidance and regulation by an executive action, the cost of operating an undertaking. So, they'll mainly to reduce unwanted expenditure. So, whatever expenditure, avoid. Okay. So, Hyundai car, back side, the rear wheel, there are two wipers in there. Initially, when they did it, meaningless. Okay. One was required for the driver to see the rear view mirror. So the second one waste, then they remove it, unwanted. Cost reduction is Maruti Suzuki Swift Desire. Originally, the shape was like this concave. Then the excise duty law is that up to certain length, let's say excise duty was 80,000. This was marginally exceeding, that's a backside in the wood bit that became convex. So, it came within the lowest slab, 80,000 excise duty became 30,000. That is called cost reduction. Cost control is avoiding unwanted expenditure. Cost reduction is reducing further. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ various techniques CFL ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಂಟರ್ವ್ಯೂ ಇರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. So value engineering, design ಅನ್ನೇ change ಮಾಡೋದು, value analysis is non value added items ಅನ್ನು remove ಮಾಡೋದು, then target costing ಅಂತ. So where in syllabus ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, just if there is analytical theory, ಅದು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಟಚಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ R2R ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಫೈನಲ್ ಇಂದ ತೆಗೆದು ಇಂಟರ್ಮೀಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟಕ್ಕ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ 2 marks ಗೆ. ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೈ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ಏನು ನಾವು ಸ್ಟುಪಿಡ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಲರ್ನ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ದ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ 100 rupees. ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್? 20 rupees. ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್. Difference in the target cost 80. Then actual cost 2 are amount. If it is 90, why did you spend 10 rupees more? If it is 75, happy, but check up whether your cost incurred is right or wrong. So these are the various ways of reducing the further cost. Cost reduction, reduction in per unit cost without impairing the suitability for which it is intended. So who is Rama? So you can look from different angles. Dasharatha's son, Sita's husband, Laukusha's father, etc. Same way, how do you look at the cost? Cost of this from element to extra. Material, labor. ಏನು ಅನ್ಬಿಟ್
Direct expense.
ಯಾರ ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಲ್ಲ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಓವರ್ಹೆಡ್ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಟಂಗಿಯ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಎರಡು ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಎರಡು ಕಡೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಓವರ್ಹೆಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಫರ್ದರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪರಿಣಿತ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ indirect cost ಅಥವಾ overhead, also called on cost. Direct material, direct labor, also productive wages. Direct expenses, also called chargeable expenses. Royalty, fees for technical service, license fees, route permit, then higher charges of the equipment, etc. They must cost sheet and birth. All those are considered to be direct expenses. Right. Then function wise, production cost, O&A, selling and distribution, etc. Nature of the behavior, what Aman sir would have done. So fixed cost, variable cost, semi-variable. Semi-variable segregation, delta C divided by delta U. That is called a variable cost. Fixed cost is the difference. Then stair-step fixed cost is not semi-variable. It is fixed cost itself in an ever-growing concept. Then normality, all those things, Decision-making purpose, different words. Opportunity cost. The cost of benefit foregone, cost of, by not selecting the next best alternative. Opportunity cost, always relevant. Relevant cost means relevant for decision in hand. Then standard cost is predetermined per unit cost. Budgeted cost is estimated total cost. Differential cost is the difference of two costs to alternatives. Out of pocket is a cash cost, imputed is opposite. That is notional. Allocation. Cloth in a shirt is directly chargeable. That's called allocation. Rent of a factory, it has been apportioned based on certain criteria, apportionment. Allocation plus apportionment is equal to absorption. So, over absorption means absorbed is more. Under absorption is absorbed is less. So, ಇದನ್ನ 3 chapter ಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು ಅಮನ್ ಸರ್ದು ಓವರ್ಹೆಡ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಟು absorbed minus actual. Standard is also nothing but absorbed. Also, integrated, non-integrated bookkeeping ಅಲ್ಲಿ overhead account ಅಲ್ಲಿ by absorbed to incurred. Difference is if this is more over absorption, then the credit balance in an expense account. Under absorption, Reverse is the case. Conversion cash, very, very important. Cloth has become a shirt. Cost of production, the cloth and the minus money. Cost, so direct material borogilla, bit to everything else. Direct labor, direct expense, and factory overhead is the conversion cost. Methods of costing I discussed. Yes. Management accounting, Seema. Yaro Seema, Charana, Bajuwali. So Chartered Institute of Management Accountant. So it uses the word CPPI. They word perfect. Create, protect, preserve, and increase value to the stakeholders. Next, responsibility centers. So they are nothing but your P&L account balance sheet. So revenue center, cost center, profit center, investment center. That's all. So again, I keep telling, ಈ ತರ ಸೆಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಡೇ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಟುಮಾರೋ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಈ ಇಯರ್ಫೋನ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡೋಗಿ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದು 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬಂದ್ರು ದೇವ್ರು. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ? Yes. Yeah. And again, this time we updated the notes where all formula are condensed and given in a beautiful way together. Thanks to the team. Yes. So, cost bookkeeping. How do you maintain books for costing? I'm a chota concern. I cannot maintain too many books. Only one set of books. Integrated books, costing and financial books together. But I should be able to get all the information from that. That's why I, being a costing student, be loyal to the costing way. So that's why instead of saying purchase account debit, stores ledger control account. That's the word used because you're a student of costing. Whereas if you're a big concern, Tata, Bata, etc., where you can afford to have two separate set of books. Costing books separately, financial books separately. So financial books are PUC CA foundation accounts. Costing books, what we are learning now. Since two separate books, financial trading field account, costing cost sheet is that. Profits may not match. Prepare a reconciliation statement only under non-integrated bookkeeping. Reconciliation statement is a separate buyout model. Again, every time I say, be loyal to your subject. You are a student of now costing. Always given or not given. That's the beauty of consistency, what we learned at CAPS. Ishika, profit as per costing. Profit for the loss, other which is the bracket after. Pillars for costing, kotilandu. Start with the profit as per costing only. Leave it blank, circular. But endly, profit as per financial books. Add less model. Buyout model better. So profit as per costing. So then over absorption is more. Costing, everything you have to think. Costing subject you should not think about anything else. Costing think about it. Cost sheet only overheads 100 lakh. Financial books are 80 lakh. Costing expense just charge because of which profit is come down, add back. So atava buyout technique last minute add over absorption of overheads. Opposite is less under absorption of overheads. Opening stock is like expense. Same treatment what I explained. Closing stock is like income, opposite. So overvaluation of opening stock has to be minus. Undervaluation, overvaluation of closing stock has to be minus. Opening stock has to be added. Vishika confused model. Are you crystal clear about it? Right. So format by heart market. And costing as well. So first cost sheet in the P&L account compare made. Costing items, pure costing items, notional depreciation, notional salary, notional salary, notional rent, etc. Considered only in costing, minus Chetna. Whereas then first costing in the P&L, then P&L to costing. Some items considered only in P&L account. Ali add agidre, illu add money, ali less agidre, illu less money. So the rectification of errors concept bekade, costing to P&L account madavaga, reverse the don't do, P&L to costing mada, do the do. Whatever P&L account ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದಾರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಗೆ ಆಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ವೆರಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಸ್ ಅದು ಲೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಂದ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಅಬ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಶೋನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೆಸ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಆಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ರೈಟ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಬುಕ್ ಕೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಶೀಟ್ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಅದೇ ಫಾರ್ಮೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದು? ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಟು ದ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಸ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ WIP ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್.
ಏನ್ ಕಿವಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಕಣ್ಣು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಕಿವಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ಕಿವಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಏನ್ ವಿಷಯ? ಬಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ತುಂಬಾ ಚಿಲ್ಲಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸೊ WIP ಮೊಮೆಂಟ್ ಐ ಸೆ WIP ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು?
Production.
WFP ಅಂದ್ರೆ where the production takes place ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಈಗ ಚರಣ್ಗೆ two children, ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್ಗೆ 3 children. ಸೊ ಅವರೇಜ್ ಎಷ್ಟು 2.5 ವರ್ಕ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ವರ್ಕ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ ಕೂಡ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ್?
Production.
ಸೊ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರಿ ಓವರ್ಹೆಡ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಸರ್ಸ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡನ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್: ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ದ ರಿಸೀವಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ದ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ WIP ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ WIP ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಟು SLC. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ WIP ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಟು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಲೇಬರ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ದೆನ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದ ಗುಡ್ಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಟು ವಾಟ್? ಸಂಹಿತಾ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಗುಡ್ಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ O&A ಓವರ್ಹೆಡ್ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ದೆನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ S&D ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ದೆನ್ ಫೈನಲಿ ಮೇಕ್ ಎ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಇಸ್ WIP, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಗುಡ್ಸ್. ಅಂಡರ್ ನಾನ್ ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಬುಕ್ ಕೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ you have mainly 4 items, 3 debit items: raw material, that is SLC, WIP, finished good. Then balancing figure is a self-balancing ledger called GLA account, CLA account is the nominal ledger adjustment account, cost ledger adjustment, general ledger adjustment account ಅಥವಾ stores ledger adjustment account. Whereas ಅಲ್ಲಿ overhead adjustment ಏನು ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಮಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್, ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Integrated ಅಲ್ಲಿ everything is coming in only one travel, there is all items are taken care. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಕನ್ಸಿಲೇಷನ್ ವ್ಯಾಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ ಹೇಳಿದೀನಿ. ದೆನ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಂಟ್ರೀಸ್, ಅದೊಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ಕಡೆ ಒಂದು ಟೇಬಲ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಸೊ 3 ಕಾಲಮ್: ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ, ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಬುಕ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ಸೋ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಟೇಬಲ್. ಅದನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಮನ್ ಸರ್, ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ. R2R ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಚ್ಗಲ್ಲ, R2R ಅದೊಂದು ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟ್ ನಾನ್ ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿ ಟೇಬಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಭಾವನ ನೀನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಮನ್ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿ, ಅದು ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಎಂಟ್ರೀಸ್ ಇದ್ದು ಟೇಬಲ್ 3 ಟೇಬಲ್. ಸೊ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಇದೆ, ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್: ಫಸ್ಟ್ PUC, ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ದ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್, ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಟು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್. ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್. ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಸ್ ಲೆಜರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಟು GLA, wherever I don't want the GLA. If it is integrated, purchase control account ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಸ್ ಲೆಜರ್ ಟು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ there are some account manufacturing flow ಗೆ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ SLC ಟು ವರ್ಕ್ ಇನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರೆಸ್. ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ನಾನ್ ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಕೀಪಿಂಗ್, ವೇರ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಟು ದ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ WIP ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಟು SLC. ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಇದೇ ಸೇಮ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ. ನೆನಪಿದೆಯಾ? ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದು ಸೇಮ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ಡ್, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಟು P&L ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಕೀಪಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್. ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, P&L ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಿ. ಎಸ್, ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಶೀಟ್, ದ base Gita, Bible and Quran of the costing. So everybody must know, when voluminous quantity of the homogeneous products are manufactured, that is called cost sheet. All of you listening?
Yes, sir.
So when the voluminous quantities of what? Voluminous quantities of same products, yavadu same, okay, homogeneous anti now adike. So when you manufacture huge quantities of same item, same pen, etc., then you go for what? Single costing or the unit costing or the output costing, where you prepare cost sheet. So this is the format everybody should know. Per unit, sorry, total in rupees, per unit rupees. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇಡಬೇಡಿ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ ಸುವ್ಯಕ್ತ, ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಬರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮೆಟ್: ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಲೇಬರ್, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್, ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್, ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ವಿಜುವಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಆಡ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಓವರ್ಹೆಡ್, ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ರೆಕ್ಟಿಫೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಡಿಫೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಆಡ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ WIP ಲೆಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ WIP, ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯು ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್. ಆಡ್, ಇದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಇದೊಂದು ಡೇಂಜರಸ್ ಏರಿಯಾ. ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್, R&D, admin overhead related to production. ಇದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗಿವ್ ಎ ನೋಟ್, either it's taken here or it's taken here. Primary packaging cost, less sale of scrap ಅಥವಾ by products. ಇಲ್ಲಿ scrap ಗೆ they have specifically given material separately, labor separately, overhead. Then material ಇಂದ ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, labor ಮಾಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ overhead ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿ. Otherwise you have to deduct only here. So then cost of production, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಬಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಲೈನ್, per unit ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಭಾವನಾ. ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನರ್ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಇಂದ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. So that automatically you will get the units information. Then as it is given, closing stock compulsorily by considering closing stock units into cost of production per unit. This will give you cost of goods sold start here. So assuming they are not given the units information, it will be in a per unit information not required. And assuming opening stock and closing stock is valued same, then this per unit and this per unit also will remain same. Otherwise, it cannot be. Till here, based on what? Havana? Units
produced.
Units produced.
Here, units are sold. Add general administration overhead, selling and distribution, cost of sales, profit, balance figure, sales, estimation and quotation. I am in January month. February month, if I am manufacturing 20% extra, Deepa, what is the estimation? Same cost sheet, other base token. So, variable overhead per unit remains same. Adana multiply. Factory overhead is taken as a percentage of direct labor normally. So, S&D overhead is taken as a percent of worst cost. O&A overhead is fixed in nature. That's the last month amount is Supreme. Whereas quotation. So now normally we manufacture steel bottle. Now Bhavana says unique color bottle. So adike, so for her, especially when I do it, 100 units again, same like estimation, but I cannot charge 10 lakh rupees rent of the building to one customer of 100. So that's why one day overhead also has to be taken as a percentage of works cost unless given otherwise. Again, only be careful. 1/4 on cost, 1/5 on sales, etc. Take a extra care. Unit costing, batch costing. Unit is individually modeled. Batch costing is when you sir yeah. So when manufacturing happens, batches, let's say cycles. Cycle manufacturing, onunde tire, onunde rim markun kutkodilla. We manufacture in batches, then we merge it, then Bhavana comes to the class. You know.
ಕಷಾಯನ ಸರ್
ಕಹಿದ್ದು ಲಿಂಬು ಜ್ಯೂಸ್ ಒಂದು ಸಿಪ್ಪೆನ ಹಿಂಡಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಮೋದಿಜಿ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಿಂಡ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಈ ಕೈಗಳು ಹಿಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಾವೆ. ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಏನೋ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ಪೋನ್ ಆಗತ್ತಂತೇನೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ವ ನೀವು? ಏನಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಏನಿದ್ರು ನಾವು ಹೇಳಿದೀವಿ 15th ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ CA ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ ಹೇಳಿ. ಓಕೆನಾ? ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಬೇಡ. ಹೀಗೆ ಎಸ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ಎವಿಟಬಲ್ ಟು ದ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್, ಅನ್ಅವಾಯ್ಡಬಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ಕೇರ್ ಬೈ ಗುಡ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್. ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್, ಅವಾಯ್ಡಬಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇಟ್ ಅರೈಸಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕೇರ್ಲೆಸ್ನೆಸ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್, ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಸ್, ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್, ರೇಟ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ರೇಟ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೂತ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ. ದೆನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಬೈ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್, ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡ್ಯಾಶ್. ದೆನ್ ಬೈ ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್, ವೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್. ಬೈ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಗುಡ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾನ ಮರಿದಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಶರ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ಡ್ ವಿದೌಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾತ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ. ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದು ಟು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ 1 ಇರಬೇಕು. ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಸೊ ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹಂಗೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಿ. ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ 1 ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ 3 ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ 2 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ರಿಷಿಕಾ? ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಜಾಗ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಲೆಸ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್, ಪಿ ಲೆಸ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್. ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್, ಸೋಮ್ಯಾಜಿ. ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗೇನ್. ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್, ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಲೆಸ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಇಫ್ ಎನಿ. ಏನೋ ವೈರಾ normal scrap if any, that is the net cost Q. Then that divided by the left side P is equal to per unit 2 RMS. Abnormal loss into whatever, finished goods into whatever. Illi second question of your caps meter, they say process 1 only 1/3 is transferred to the process 2 and 2/3 is sold in the market. Athar iddaga same thing, only thing is in the process account by transfer to process 2 1/3, by transfer to costing paid account 2/3 units into rate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಮರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತಿದೆ. ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ವರ್ಡ್ ನೋಡಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ, ಸೊ ದೇ ಸೇ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ 5%. ಸೊ ಬೈ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ 10,000, ಬೈ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ 500. It is disposed at a cost of 2 per unit. then 500 into 2 is within the bracket figure on the right side. ಅಥವಾ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಹುಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಮ್ಮ ನಾನು. ಸೊ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಬಿಂದು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್. ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಐದರ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ರೈಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್, ಬಟ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ವಿದಿನ್ ದ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಬರೋದು ಆಯ್ತು. ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಇದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ದ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಮನ್ ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಲಾಸ್, ವೇಸ್ಟ್, ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಎ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಅಂತ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಆನ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದವ್ರು ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಆಡ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ರೈಟ್, ಇರ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಸುರಭಿ ಏನು ರೆಡಿ, ಊಟ ಮೀಲ್ಸ್ ರೆಡಿಯಾ, ಊಟ ತಯಾರಿದೆ ಅಂತ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ದೆನ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್, ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್. ನಾವು ಫಸ್ಟ್ 2 ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ. ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ MCQ ಹೈಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ನನ್ನ ಎಕ್ವಿವಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಹೇಳೆ, ಎಕ್ವಿವಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಜ್ವರ ಹೇಳೋ, ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಯಾರದು? ಅದು ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರ್ದು? ಅದು ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ಇಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡದು. ಇವಳ್ದ ಶ್ರಾವ್ಯಂದ ನಿಂದೇನಾ? ನೀನ್ ಯಾರಂತ ಕಾಣ, ನಾನು ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಸುಂದರ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ನೀನು ಇವಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ನಾನು. ಇರ್ಲಿ ರೈಟ್. ಸುರಭಿ ಅವಳೇನೇನೆ ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡೆ. ಸುರಭಿ
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, ಅವಳೆ.
ಅವಳೆಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಡೋಣ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್. ಈಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಟೇಬಲ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್. ಟೇಬಲ್ 1 ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಸ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್, ಓಪನ್ WIP ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ 4 ಲೈನ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಟೋಟಲ್. ಅದೇ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಕಾಲಮ್ಗೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಎ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿ, ಬರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ಯಾ? ಡ್ಯಾಶ್ 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 ಡ್ಯಾಶ್. ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಡ್ಯಾಶ್ 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 ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ಇದು ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇದು ಓನ್ಲಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಶ್ರುತ ಬೈ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ process to RMR. If it is a FIFO, out of the open WIP 100 minus percentage, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ, ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ 100% ಅಥವಾ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಗಿವನ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟೆಡ್. ದೆ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಸಿ ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಓಕೆ. ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಪ್ 1200, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಇಸ್ 800, ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ 400 ಇಸ್ ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್. ಅಥವಾ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಟೇಬಲ್. ದೆನ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ WIP ಆಲ್ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಗಿವನ್. FIFO ಮಾತ್ರ ಓಪನ್ WIP ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾತ್ರ 100 ಮೈನಸ್ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. ಬೇರೆಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಆಸ್ ಬರ್. ವೇಟೆಡ್ ಅವರೇಜ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಚಿಕೊಂಡು ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ದೇ ಟೋಲ್, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 100% ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಟೋಟಲ್ 1:1 ಏನದು ರೇಷಿಯೋ 10,000 ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ವಿದಿನ್ ದ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಕೊಂಡು 100%. ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊ ದೀಪ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾಳೆ ಬೀಚ್ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಳೆ, ಜ್ವರ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಳೆ, ನಾನು ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸಾಕಾಗೋದು ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಳೆ. ಸೊ ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ 100% ವಿದಿನ್ ದ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಬರಬೇಕು. ಈಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ವಿದಿನ್ ದ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಲೇಬರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಓವರ್ಡ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಷ್ಟರವರೆಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಲೇಬರ್ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ 60%, ಓವರ್ಡ್ 70% ಇದೆ. 3 ಕಾಲಮ್ಸ್, ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಬೇರೆ, ಲೇಬರ್ ಬೇರೆ, ಓವರ್ಡ್ ಅದರ 2 ಕಾಲಮ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. ಟೇಬಲ್ 2 ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ ಈಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್, ಈಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ 1, ದೆನ್ ಪರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್. ಸೊ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್, ಲೇಬರ್, ಓವರ್ಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಲೆಸ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇಫ್ ಎನಿ. ಅಗೇನ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರಾಪ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇಫ್ ಎನಿ ಇನಾಯ್ತು ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ವೆರಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ 2 raw material ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್, ಸೇಮ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ 1 ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ 2 ಮಾಡಿ 2 raw material ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಈಸ್
Material 2.
ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ 1 ಸಮಯ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ 100% ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಿಸಂಪ್ಷನ್. 100% ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ವೀಕ್, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡೇಂಜರಸ್, ಹೈಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ FIFO ಮತ್ತೆ ವೇಟೆಡ್ ಅವರೇಜ್. ಟೇಬಲ್ 2 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೇಟೆಡ್ ಅವರೇಜ್, ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲಿ ದೇ ವುಡ್ ಗಿವ್ ದ ಸ್ಪ್ಲಿಟ್. ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಓಪನ್ WIP ಎಷ್ಟು, ಲೇಬರ್ ಓಪನ್ WIP, ಓವರ್ಡ್ ಎಷ್ಟು, ಅದನ್ನ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ FIFO ದಲ್ಲಿ ಓಪನ್ WIP ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ಇನ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ 2, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ಟು ಟೇಬಲ್ 3. ಆರ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ವಿಜುವಲೈಸ್?
Yes.
ಟೇಬಲ್ 3 ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್. ಆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಬರೆಯೋದು. ರೋ ವೈಸ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟು ರೇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ಟೇಬಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ 2. ಟೇಬಲ್ 4 is process account. Okay. So debit side information is the question. Right. Credit side is normal scrap value if any ಬರೆಯೋದು. Everything else is what? Little working out. Sorry, table 3 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡೋದು. Third question is about inter-process where output of one process to another process may be transferred at cost. No efficiency evaluation. ಅಥವಾ at selling price ಅಥವಾ negotiated price. When it's transfer at selling price ಅಥವಾ negotiated price, then it will give you the efficiency, inefficiency valuation. So process one account, particulars non-material ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಟೋಟಲ್. ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ನೀವು ಕನ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿ. ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಟೋಟಲ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಸರ್ಕಸ್ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಟೋಟಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ 1/4 ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅನ್ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ 2 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಗೇನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ 1 ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಒಬ್ಬರಾದ್ರೂ ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿ. ಮನ ಮರಿ ಇಲ್ಲದವ್ರು ಕ್ಲಾತ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಶರ್ಟ್ ಓದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ದಿರ್ತೀರಾ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಹೇಳಿದ್ಮೇಲೂ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಟು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ 2 ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಇಸ್ 400, ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇಸ್ 100, ದೆನ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಇಸ್ 500. ಆಡ್ 1/4 ಆನ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 1/4 ಆನ್
Cost.
Cost.
500.
500. 1/4 ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ R2R ಸೆಷನ್ ಬೇಕಾ? ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಅವಳೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1/4 ಆನ್ 500. Cost column here is cost column of the company. Total column is the cost column of the respective process. That's why 1/4 on 400 alla, 1/4 on 500. Be careful. Then same way you continue. Last process ಅಲ್ಲಿ transfer to finished stock account. Then statement of closing stock valuation, opening stock, unrealized profit in opening stock, unrealized profit in closing stock. Then the actual cost will be add opening stock reserve less closing stock reserve. The difference is the actual stock. These are the various types of process costing problems. ಇದಾಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಬೈ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅದು. ಎಸ್, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, per unit cost. So Suyakta's marriage, based on the past experience of his elder cousin's marriage, they planned their total expenditure will be 12 lakh. That is budget. When the marriage is fast approaching, what may be the expenditure per unit is called starred costing. Starred costing without variance analysis is
Wasteful
exercise.
Wasteful ಅಲ್ಲ, waste exercise. ಏನು wasteful? Waste exercise. ವೆಂಕಟ ರಘುನಂದನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ವಿದೌಟ್ ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಫ್ ಹೊರಡೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಖಾಮುಖಿ ನಾನು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕ್ಬಿಡ್ತೇನೆ. ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಅವ್ರು ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಎರಡು ಕಡೆ ಹೊಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದೇವರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸುಪ್ರೀತ್, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಾಡಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಕೈ ಹೊಡ್ಕೋ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಎರಡು ಕಡೆ ಹೊಡ್ಕೋ. ಸಮಯ ಮೆತ್ತಗಲ್ಲ, ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೊಡ್ಕೋ ಜೋರಾಗಿ. ಏನೋ. ಸೊ ಸಾರಿ, ರೈಟಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಫ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಗೌತಮ್ಮಿ. ಸೊ ದಿ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ವೇರಿಯನ್ಸಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಹೇಳೋದು ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ವೇರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಒಳಗಿದೆ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ?
Yes, sir.
ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್, ಹೈಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 100% ಬಂದೋದಂತ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ. ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟಿವ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, MCQ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಬರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ವೇರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್, actual cost of actual input for actual output. It is divided into 3: material, labor and overhead. That expense ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಅದು ಬರಲಿ. ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ರಾ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್. ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ
For actual out.
ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಹೇಳಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಫಾರ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಏನಾಗಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಬರ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು? ಸೊ I expected 1 lakh units. I manufactured only 2,000 units. Their calculation should be based on 1,000 units. It is always based on actual output. So standard cost of standard raw material for actual cost divided into 2 hours. Price variance within the bracket price into actual quantity of raw material consumed. Ali reading kali bindi full stop. Usage variance within the bracket quantity standard quantity actually into standard rate. Rate is always per unit. Quantity is always total. Rate is always per unit. That's why the normal confusion, but I think you should not have any confusion. Cap students again. Then further divided into material mix variance. Material mix variance is when there are 2 or more material. Total actual quantity of raw material consumed into standard rate per unit of standard mix minus standard rate per unit of actual mix. Box sari ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Then material sub-usage variance ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಇದ್ದು ಒಂಥರ ಗನ್ ತರ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ನೆನಪಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಗನ್ ಅನ್ನೇ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಆಗೋದು. ರೈಟ್ ಸೈಡ್ ನೆನಪಿದ್ಯಾ? ಟೋಟಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಮೈನಸ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಇಂಟು ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಪರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್. MSU ಬದಲು material yield variance based on the output. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ variances except yield variance interpretation is same. Positive ಬಂದ್ರೆ favorable, negative ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಭಾವನ adverse. Yield variance ಅಲ್ಲಿ positive is adverse, negative is Divya favorable. Right. Next, labor cost variance, same formula. Rate variance and volume variance. Illi mix variance same. Labor sub illi volume variance based on labor hours paid ಆಗಬೇಕು. Illi labor hours worked ಆಗಬೇಕು. Paid but not worked labor chapter is called idle. It is always adverse. Next, fixed overhead discussed separately. Direct expense if any. Variable overhead, ditto. Variable overhead normally we stop here. Standard minus actual. However, if they give hourly information, so then you have to go by expenditure variance and what ditto material price and what Charan Otola. Charan Enti Bandena? Sir. Sire wash ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ತರಕ್ಕೆ ಬದಲ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡು so same whatever, so variable overhead you should normally stop here. Hourly data ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ you have to go for expenditure and volume variance. Next, ಅದು formula again ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Fixed overhead is the beauty and one of my favorite and easy. First formula same standard. Expenditure variance question ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಚಿನ್ಮಯ ಕೇಳಿ 2 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಹಂಗೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಯ್ತು. ಏನು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ವೇರಿಯನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಆಕ್ಚುಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Fixed overhead is the only place where we have 3 words used: budgeted, standard, actual. Budgeted is estimation, actual is given, standard is for
Actual output.
Actual output.
actual output. ಬಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. Yeah, right. Next, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ expenditure variance question in the lift ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. Budgeted minus actual. So this formula, if you know, this is from the question. Volume is the balance indicator. Volume get 2 approaches. Either you can go by unit based or you can go by hours based. Unit based is the total budgeted quantity minus total actual quantity into what? Standard rate unit. So unit what? Variance ತುಂಬಾ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರು variance ಅಂತೂ ತುಂಬಾ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Next, so moving on, so BQ minus EQ to SR, illi deduct and add SQ, we get BQ minus SQ to SR. So that's called C and E, alphabetical order, capacity and efficiency variance. By deducting and adding RBQ, we get a expenditure variance and other. So capacity and efficiency variance. Then correction what's okay. So so ಇದು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. BQ minus EQ into SR ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. By deducting and SQ we get BQ minus SQ minus EQ. ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. This is capacity to efficiency variance. Then capacity variance if suppose further information is given RBQ ಇದು by deducting you get ಇದು expenditure variance ಅಲ್ಲ calendar variance. ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದೆಪ್ಪ ಇದು ಟೋಟಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ರಿವಿಷನ್ ಮೆಟಲ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Calendar variance ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ತಪ್ಪಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. Calendar variance is RBQ minus BQ into SR. Then the right side is called other capacity variance. ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಇದು ಟೋಟಲ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಇದೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸಾರಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನಾನು ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ನೋಡೋದು ಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಬಜೆಟೆಡ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಅವರ್ಸ್ ತಪ್ಪಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಪ್ಪ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಬಜೆಟೆಡ್ ಅವರ್ಸ್ ಮೈನಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅವರ್ಸ್. ಯಾ, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ sorry for this, budgeted quantity minus actual quantity, ಇಲ್ಲಿ BH minus SH, BS minus HS, SR, then continue with the AH. That is all. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ತಪ್ಪಿದೆ, ಕರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸಾರಿ ಫಾರ್ ಇಟ್. So suggest the answers what has been asked. So normally 2 case studies. I reconfirm with Aman sir. So 5 questions into 2, 10 marks. 20 marks is for 2 case studies. So 20 marks ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Sometimes 8 into 3, 24 ಬರ್ಬೋದು. Finally, there is a trend there for it. Then other 10 marks, 2 marks into whatever. Descriptively, normally, ತುಂಬಾ multiple sub questions ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Be extra careful. ಒಂದೊಂದು sub question ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬರಬೇಡಿ. Anything they can ask. Okay. 1A, 1B, 1C, material margin. Material cost normally 1 or 2 only ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Then also row one is very common they ask. Process costing, etc. Right. And last question is always theory till date. If they change, we are not responsible. One question 4 marks ಗೆ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. Right. Even MCQ also when they asked, look here. ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್, ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ಮಾರ್ಜಿನ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್, ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್, ಥಿಯರಿ, ರಿಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಅದು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಏರಿಯಾಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರೂಷಿಯಲ್. ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ. ಸೊ ಮಾರ್ಜಿನ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಈಕ್ವಲೆಂಟ್, FIFO ವೇಟೆಡ್ ಅವರೇಜ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್, ದೆನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಸ್, ಆಲ್ಸೇಲ್ ಓವರ್, ದೆನ್ ನಾನ್ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಟೆಡ್. ಅಥವಾ ಈಗ 3 ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್, ಯಾವುದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದೆನ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ದೀಸ್ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್. ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ is again extremely crucial. Okay, so material, labor, whatever etc. Then ABC ಟೈಮ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಾಡಿ. ಥಿಯರಿ, ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಥಿಯರಿ ಅಪ್ಡೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರೂಷಿಯಲ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟೇಬಲ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಿ. Order of selection of question strictly follow ಮಾಡಿ. Don't start with the first question. Okay, so don't start with the first question. ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಚಮಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, it may be easy but don't start. Okay, least. So question to be rejected is assuming you don't know one question completely. Thank God you don't have any problem of you ಯಾವ್ದು ರಿಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುವ ಅಂತ. ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ವ್ಯಾರಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ, ಕ್ವಶನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ರಿಜೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್. ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ವಿಚ್ ಫೆಚಸ್ ಯು ಲೆಸ್ಸರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ರಿಜೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ದ ವೇ, ರೈಟ್? Then the scheduled time is same, 2 to 2:10 scribbling, 2:10 to 3:30. This is what I suggested, I think, for all the 3 subjects on that. So you have to go with the 3 best well-known answer descriptive questions. Descriptive. The first question you can take around 30 to 40 minutes. 30 to 40 minutes. So effectively 2:10 to 3:30 ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ? You have how many minutes, sir? 80 minutes ಇರುತ್ತೆ. 80 minutes ಅಲ್ಲಿ first question what is selected, whichever question, preferably not theory. Don't start with theory unless theory you are very strong and problems you are very weak. Then you can start with the theory, no issue. Otherwise, last question I don't suggest here. So you can start with any of the question which fetches you the right. So second question, third question, extreme question, first question easy through, you can start, no problem. Because Aman sir just strike up ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, but not suggested. Normal first question ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಚಮಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದೇ question not suggested. Second question, second to fifth ಯಾವುದು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, which fetches you the best marks, ಅದನ್ನು select ಮಾಡಿ. Then maybe 30 to 40 minutes you can take. Next question around 20 to 30 minutes. Next question within 20 minutes. 3:30 ಮುಗಿಸಲೇಬೇಕು. 3:30 ಆಗಿರೋದು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್. ಸಬ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಗೋ. MCQ 3:30 to 4:15 all MCQs. 4:15 to 4:15 remaining 2 questions around 20 minutes each ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Last 10 minutes. This is what has been suggested for all the practicals ಅಲ್ವಾ? Even accounts ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ತರ ಸಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ನಾನು.
Yes, sir.
To follow this reasonably, Venkat?
Yes.
Yes,
sir.
I don't force you to follow this, sir, but I strongly recommend. Probably by doing that, you would have reached the target of 90 to 100% of a question paper. So 100%. And costing ಅಲ್ಲಿ time is very, very dangerous. Extremely careful ಆಗಿ ಇದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ. Suggested answers MPP ಇದೆ. Suggested answer ಏನೋ 5 ನಿಮಿಷ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನೋಡೋಣ. MCQ question. Practice any MCQ at CA exam ಅಲ್ಲಿ, intermediate final ಅಲ್ಲಿ no ticking. Practice ಮಾಡಿ ರೈಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಕೇಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾ ನೋಡೋದು, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾ ನೋಡೋದು, ಮಿಡ್ಲ್ ಓದಬಾರ್ದು. ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್, ಅದನ್ನು ಓದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ದೆನ್ ಫುಲ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಓದ್ಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಹೌ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇವ್ ಯುವರ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೋಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ರೆಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಆನ್ ನೋಟಿಂಗ್ ಡೌನ್. ದೆನ್ ಟಕ್ 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 ಯು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗಿವ್ ದ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್. ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗಿವ್ ದ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಹೌ ಯು ಆರ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಟು ಸಾಲ್ವ್. ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಟಿವ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಇದೀರಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is a question on marginal costing where sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution, fixed cost ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ profit ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Then PV ratio formula, tabular. So presentation also matters, how you present ಅಂತ. Then I think there is some algebra question, okay, missing figure information ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. Then again contribution, same formula, selling price minus variable cost. Direct material, direct labor, variable overhead is called variable cost, that is called contribution. So contribution is an important decision making factor. Then when there is a lead time related question, ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಬರೆದು ಟು ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಕುಯ್ಬೇಡಿ, ಟೈಮ್ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ತುಂಬಾ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಬರಬೇಡಿ, ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಬರೆಯೋದು, ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಹಾಕೋದು, ಬಿಸಾಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಸೊ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಇಯರ್ ಎಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಲಾ 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 ಇನ್ ದ ನೇಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಸೋ, ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್, ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಬರೀಬೇಕು. ದೆನ್ ಪರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಇಲ್ಲದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಹುಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಪರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡಿ. then go by the format. ಅದು ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. 200 pages book ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸೊ ಆಲ್ಸೇಲ್ ಓವನ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸಲ ಬಂದಿದೆ ದೇವರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಿ ದಿಸ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿನ್ ದ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಯು ವುಡ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಆಲ್ಸೇಲ್ ಓವನ್, ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಅವೇ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಶೀಟ್. ದಿಸ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬಿನ್ ದ ಈಸಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ 3, ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಇವನ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಈಸಿ. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಹಾಕೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಪರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಡ, ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ. ಪರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಬೇಡ. ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇಲ್ಲೇ 1000 units at ₹50 per unit, 10 per, ಅದೊಂದು ಬರ್ಕೊಂಬಿಡಿ, ಅದು ಸಾಕು. ಅಂಡ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ at ₹150 per unit, ಅದೊಂದು ಬರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸಿವೆಕ್ಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಪರ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಕಾಲಮ್ ಆಗಿ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ನೋಡಿ ಕೇಳವ್ರೆ ದೇವರು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 2 questions ಎಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಗೇನ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಸಿ. ದೆನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್ profit under each alternative. Okay, so again, basically a case study scenario tara, by considering marginal costing or whatever. This also was easy. 4th question, service costing, straight away format. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಹೆನ್ಸಿವ್ ಮೆಷಿನ್ ಅವರ್ ರೇಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ, ದೆನ್ ಮೆಷಿನ್ ಆಪರೇಟರ್ ವೇಜಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಮೆಷಿನ್ ಅವರ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ, ಮೆಷಿನ್ ಅವರ್ ರೇಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಸೇಮ್. ಮೆಷಿನ್ ಅವರ್ ರೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 2 category, ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೆಮಿ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಸೆಗ್ರಿಗೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಪೇರ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೇಲ್ಸ್. ಅದು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದೆನ್ ಓವರ್ ಹೆಡ್ ರಿಕವರಿ ರೇಟ್, ಸಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟರಿ ರಿಕವರಿ ರೇಟ್ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 5, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಿ ದಟ್ 4th question would have been little time consuming, ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ನನ್ನ ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿಟೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ. 5th question, okay, was very easy, straight away ಓವರ್ ಹೆಡ್ ವೇರಿಯನ್ಸಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಂಟಗ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಬುಕ್ ಕೀಪಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ದೆನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ದೇರ್ ಒನ್ ಅನಾಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಥಿಯರಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್, where how do you treat these items ಅಂತ easy question. Then question number 6 ಅಲ್ಲಿ, so this question you should never miss, especially when you have a question like this. ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್, ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೈಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ಲಿ ಈಸಿ ಟು ದ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬರಬಹುದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈವನ್ ಇಫ್ ಒನ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಓಕೆ, ಈವನ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಶ್ಯೂರ್ ಆಫ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ 10 marks, ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ರೈಟ್ ದ ಥಿಯರಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಥಿಯರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತೂ ಬಂದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Same way we have put the mock test papers. That's it. So I am sure reasonably you are out of the taxation paper now. ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಬೇಡ. So whatever you want to do it today, you do it. Tomorrow segregate ಮಾಡಿ, ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು, ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟು, ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ. ರೀಸನಬ್ಲಿ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 70-80% ನಾಳೆ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಡೇ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಟುಮಾರೋ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ 20-30% ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿ. If possible, 1 hour, you can listen to whatever they happened today if required. Then 200 pages book in and out ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಫಾರ್ಮುಲಾ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು, ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. Go and enjoy. Time is extremely crucial. Reasonably stick to that. Around 90+ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, it is really great in costing. 100 is the target. Sometimes you may be able to do it. ಯಾವ್ದು ಸೇಮ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಬಂದ್ರೆ you may complete within the time also. But 90+ everybody should attempt. Go and rock the exam. God bless you. All the best. Enjoy. Anything you want to ask? Yeah. YouTube recording off.